boundaries and consent too, right? Like consent. So the way to teach children consent is to ask, you be the model and ask. I'm such a hugger. I hug everybody. I even hug strangers. At my mom's home, I always hug seniors.
Yes.
And it's important to ask for them to see you asking, can I give you a hug? And do it in a really friendly, fun way.
Yeah.
And what we learned in sex ed school is we did all kinds of therapies, like touch therapy, and we did this if we didn't want to hug.
And that's so your hands are crossed over your
crossed
chest.
if you don't want to have. So I mean, you can't do that with kids. You know, obviously that's not a thing we do in society, but just to give the idea that you're showing them that when you want to hug somebody, you model that you ask, and then they'll automatically do it.
Right.
And don't force your kids to hug people.
I was going to ask this. So this is something interesting, and I know this is like a debate that's starting to get more and more popular. But so with strangers, it's a bit easier. It makes sense that your kid shouldn't have to hug a stranger. But with family members too. So a lot of people are saying that your kid shouldn't be obligated to hug anybody, including family members, like grandparents, like anybody. Like if they want to go give the kid a hug and the kid's like uncomfortable, there's a school of thought that thinks that, well, no, the kid shouldn't have to give that person a hug. Like they're not.
They've never met them before. They didn't build a relationship.
Well, no, but even if they did though, like even they know the person.
Right.
And there's some people that even go as far as like with their own kids, like asking their own kids, like, is it okay if I do this? And then the other side of the argument comes in, they say, well, you can't parent properly sometimes. Like your kid has a certain amount of bodily autonomy, but for their safety, you have to be able to touch them even, you know, you don't. And then you get the thing where kids sometimes just say no, just for the hell of it. Because they're like, no.
Because they want to be.
So yeah, you don't want to
in the no stage.
You don't want to be asking your kids like, oh, can I help you put your jeans on? No, you don't ask your kid that because they're going to go, no. And then you're like, well, you have to put your jeans on. So
can't get anything done here.
Yeah, like, so I think it's a really interesting conversation though, because it did come up specifically with family members. And it's like, I have a kid and they're not really comfortable with hugging.
Right.
They're not like a touchy-feely thing. And I don't know whether or not I should, you know, tell family members that, being like, you know, so-and-so doesn't really like giving hugs and they don't take it personally, they just don't like it. Or is it one of those things where you have to suck it up because they're family and whatever, but then people are like, that can get really dangerous because in instances of sexual abuse, a lot of times like it can be and is family members. And so how do you do that?
Have a conversation. You have the conversation with the children and say what's a good touch and what's a bad touch, and to listen to how you're feeling. If you're feeling not feeling right, then listen to that feeling. And you can say no loud and confidently.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying that because I was sexually abused when I was a kid, and when I said no with firm no, it stopped.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, really? I could have said no a long time ago.
But it's amazing though how that word is really difficult, especially as a kid, like as a child. That's a whole thing too. And I think
they're pretty good at saying no when they're 2 years old.
They are, yeah. It's so, but it's one of those weird things that like with family members and this idea that adults are always the authority figure and you have no autonomy over the adults in the room kind of thing. And in some ways it makes sense that sort of view exists, but in other ways it can be really dangerous because you get this person that's telling this kid like, nope, this is normal and this is what we're going to do. And it's a kid, like they don't know any better.
And that's another reason. Scary. Yeah, it's another reason why you want to be a sex positive parent that talks about everything. Because your child's going to come to you and tell you because they feel comfortable to talk to you. That's so important for them to know that they can go to their parents for everything.
Well, it goes back to the whole shame thing.
Exactly.
If they've been even, because I know a lot of parents, like I don't think parents intentionally are like, I'm going to make my kid feel ashamed about their body, but it just happens. Yeah. When it's the little things, like you're saying, it's that face that you make or that embarrassed or like that, oh no, like put that away, like whatever. Yeah. But then it extends to these situations where then your kid is maybe afraid, they're too ashamed to tell people because of that, and that's scary. Yeah. So the importance of sex positive parenting extends to their safety.
So exactly. And I want to talk also about how parents might be scared to talk about sex because they don't want them to want to have sex. Right? Because that happens a lot. I want everybody to know out there that in France, the Netherlands, and Germany, they have a comprehensive sexual education program. in their schools,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the lowest STI rates and pregnancy rates in
Yeah.
teens. The lowest. And this
Yeah.
is proof that education is really important and
Mhm.
open conversations are really important.